Chapter 4, Photograph, begins with a stormy night filled with thunder and lightning. Inside a house, a girl and her father are enjoying tea when suddenly, someone knocks on their door. The visitor is seeking shelter for the night, and that person is Tomie. The scene then shifts to a few months later at a school, where we meet a girl named Takiko. She is a skilled member of the photography club and has a knack for taking great pictures. At the request of other girls in the school, she secretly takes photos of boys and sells them for money. One day, she takes pictures of a boy named Yamazaki, telling him that a girl requested them. He even poses for the pictures. However, a girl who looks exactly like Tomie is watching everything from a distance. When Yamazaki looks in her direction, she quickly walks away. Takiko then tells Yamazaki that the girl is a recent transfer student and a member of the ethics committee. Her name is Tomie Kawakami. Later, at Takiko's house, we see that she actually collected Yamazaki's photos for herself because she secretly likes him. The next day at school, Takiko is selling photos to another girl at a high price when suddenly, Tomie appears. She tells Takiko that what she is doing is wrong and that she should not exploit other girls like this. Takiko denies any wrongdoing, but Tomie doesn't back down. She calls over a boy named Taiji and asks him to check Takiko's bag. When he does, he finds all the photographs. Tomie takes the photos, saying that as a member of the ethics committee, she should report this behavior. However, this time, she decides to let Takiko go. After this incident, Takiko is furious, and her friends tell her that Tomie has done something like this before. Tomie had reported someone before, and a boy named Hayashi had even been expelled because of her. However, Takiko is not afraid since Tomie doesn't have any solid proof against her. During lunchtime, Yamazaki approaches Takiko and asks for Tomie's photos. Hearing this, Takiko feels both annoyed and frustrated. What is it about Tomie that makes everyone so obsessed with her? Reluctantly, she goes to take Tomie's photos. However, Tomie notices this and instead of stopping her, she starts posing willingly, telling Takiko that she can take as many pictures as she wants. Takiko gets so lost in taking pictures that she doesn't realize her teacher has been standing behind her the whole time. The teacher looks extremely disappointed and asks, "Did you join this club just to turn it into a business?" Meanwhile, Tomie smirks behind them, as her plan has worked perfectly. Takiko, in frustration, talks back rudely to the teacher, which results in her getting suspended. A few days later, Takiko goes to collect the photos she took of Tomie, but when she looks at them, she is shocked. In every picture, there is another head growing behind Tomie's own, making the images look bizarre and terrifying. Determined to get revenge, Takiko spreads Tomie's eerie photos all over the school, ensuring that everyone sees them. When Tomie finds out, she is absolutely furious. As Takiko is leaving school, Yamazaki suddenly appears and pulls her into a room, telling her to stay hidden. He reveals that the entire ethics committee is searching for her. Tomie has ordered her followers to kill Takiko. We then see those followers hunting for Takiko throughout the school. Outside the room, they find Yamazaki, who misleads them, saying that Takiko is in another building and sends them away. Then, he goes back inside the room where Takiko is hiding and tells her the truth. Tomie is not a normal girl. Tomie possesses supernatural powers, which she uses to manipulate those two boys, pushing them to extreme limits, even to the point of killing someone. Yamazaki blames himself for everything, saying that it was his fault since he was the one who requested Tomie's photos in the first place. However, he then asks Takiko, "Why did you throw away the photos like that?" Takiko admits that she was jealous of Tomie and that maybe she even has feelings for Yamazaki. But suddenly, Yamazaki starts choking her from behind, saying that Tomie personally ordered him to do this and that he won't let anyone else take credit for it. Desperate to save herself, Takiko grabs a solution from nearby and throws it on Yamazaki's face, causing his eye to burn. Screaming in pain, he lets go, and Takiko seizes the opportunity to escape. After this terrifying incident, Takiko locks herself inside her house, refusing to go out. Her mother becomes worried about her strange behavior. One day, her mother informs her that she will be going to her hometown for a week, leaving Takiko to take care of the house. After her mother leaves, Takiko looks down from the balcony, and to her horror, she sees Tomie's two followers standing outside her house. Fear grips her instantly. Just then, her mother's voice echoes from inside, calling out that Takiko's friend has arrived before leaving the house. The friend is none other than Tomie. Takiko panics and tries to run away, but when she looks outside, Tomie's followers are still standing there, blocking her escape. Realizing she has nowhere to go, Takiko turns to Tomie and asks with fear in her voice, "Why are you here?" Tomie tells Takiko that since she got suspended because of her, she has come to apologize and has even brought some food for her. She asks, "What did you think? That I wanted to have you killed? That was just Yamazaki's madness." As they talk, Tomie notices Takiko's photo collection. Looking at some gaudy design buildings, she asks if Takiko has been to Spain. Takiko replies that a friend gave her those pictures. Tomie then shares that she used to live in Spain, was born in France, and that her family once lived in a grand mansion designed by Gaudi himself. She claims that her mother was a famous actress, and her grandfather was a painter who was close friends with Picasso. She even mentions having a family photo with Picasso and invites Takiko to her house. However, Takiko dismisses her stories, saying, "There's a limit to how much someone can lie. Besides, you're a monster." Hearing this, Tomie becomes furious, grabbing her head and screaming loudly. Suddenly, a third eye appears on her forehead, causing Takiko to panic and run for her life. But before she can escape, Tomie's followers catch her and drag her back inside. As they restrain Takiko, they all notice something terrifying. Another head is growing from Tomie's own head. Frightened, Tomie's followers hesitate, but she orders them, "Don't just stare at it. Cut it off quickly." Following her command, the two boys tie up Takiko and use a chopper to remove the extra head. However, they accidentally end up cutting off Tomie's entire head instead. After a moment of silence, they panic, but one of them reassures the other, "As long as no one saw us cutting off the head, we won't get caught." They then decide to kill Takiko as well, ensuring no witnesses are left. But before they can act, something even more horrifying happens. Tomie's severed head suddenly speaks, commanding them, "Burn this head immediately." Terrified, they stuff the head into a bag and flee from Takiko's house. Meanwhile, Takiko is still tied up, trembling in fear as she stares at Tomie's headless body. She shuts her eyes, trying to block out the horror. But after some time, she hears a sound. When she opens her eyes, she sees something impossible. Tomie's body is moving. Slowly, it begins to stand up and starts walking towards Takiko. As Tomie's body walked away laughing, a new head slowly began to grow from her neck. Meanwhile, Takiko's hands suddenly became free. She tried to convince herself that everything that had happened was just a bad dream and attempted to forget about it. Chapter 5. The Kiss. The chapter begins with Tomie's body strangling Takiko, but suddenly, Takiko wakes up. She realizes that it was just a dream, but when she notices blood on the floor, the horrific events of the previous night come rushing back to her. Panicked, she decides to call her parents, but the phone line has been cut. Desperate, she rushes to a phone booth to make a call. At the same time, Tomie's followers are heading toward Takiko's house, determined to kill her. But they soon realize that someone is following them. It's Yamazaki. Yamazaki, looking desperate, pleads with them, saying that he needs to see Tomie just one more time, or he'll go insane. Annoyed by his constant begging, the two brutally attack him. Takiko watches everything from above. After they leave, she hurries down and approaches Yamazaki, who is injured but conscious. Yamazaki looks at her, confused, and asks, "Why are you helping me? I tried to kill you." But then he sighs and adds, "Maybe getting beaten up knocked some sense back into me." Before they can talk further, Tomie's followers return, realizing that Takiko has escaped. Once they leave again, Takiko checks Yamazaki's temperature and finds out that he has a fever. She decides to take him home, but in her rush, she forgets to lock the door. By the time they reach her house, Tomie's followers have completely trashed it. Takiko puts Yamazaki in a room to rest and starts cleaning up the mess, when suddenly, the doorbell rings. She freezes in fear, but when she checks, she sees that it's just her friend, Michiko. Upon spotting Yamazaki in Takiko's house, Michiko assumes that something romantic is going on between them. Takiko quickly corrects her, saying, "It's not what you think. This is a serious situation. Stay out of it. She doesn't want Michiko involved in this nightmare, so she sends her away. Shortly after, Yamazaki suddenly wakes up. With a dazed expression, he whispers, "Tomie is calling me." Before Takiko can react, he grabs her. But suddenly, a voice echoes from the other room, calling out, "Yamazaki! Yamazaki!" As if in a trance, Yamazaki walks toward the room, the same room where Tomie had died. The voice is coming from beneath the carpet. A hand suddenly emerges from the carpet, and then Tomie's entire face appears. She pulls Yamazaki close and kisses him. Tomie then turns to Takiko, her expression possessive and smug, and says, "Yamazaki belongs only to me." Then, looking at Yamazaki, she declares, "This room is our love nest." And she kisses him again. Under Tomie's complete control, Yamazaki does not resist. Meanwhile, Shimoda is climbing up a drain pipe, trying to break into Takiko's house. Inside, Takiko desperately tries to wake Yamazaki up, shaking him, calling out his name. But before she can succeed, Shimoda smashes through the glass window and violently attacks Yamazaki. Just as Shimoda is about to strike again, his eyes land on Tomie. Her face is pierced with shards of glass. Tomie looks at him with disdain and says, "You're useless. Get out of here." Hearing this, Shimoda jumps out of the window, but in doing so, he lands on his own metal rod, which impales him through the stomach, killing him instantly. Tomie then calls out to Yamazaki, who rushes to her side without hesitation. Tomie says, "Get me out of here." Yamazaki carefully removes the shards of glass from her face and begins pulling her out. To free her, he picks up a large piece of glass and starts cutting her body apart. But as he does, all the blood drains out of Tomie's body. And strangely, there are no bones, no muscles. When he finally pulls Tomie free, all that remains in his hands is just her skin. Yamazaki screams in horror, realizing what he has done. Suddenly, the police arrive. They take one look at the pool of blood and the discarded skin, completely baffled by the scene. Yamazaki, overwhelmed, faints on the spot. Meanwhile, Takiko is taken in for questioning. She tells the police everything, but they don't believe her, because when they examine the so-called skin, they find out it's just a plastic sheet. Scene shift. At the same mansion from the previous chapter, a girl is crying. She sobs, saying, "Takiko spread my dirty photos all over school. Now, everyone thinks I'm a monster. I can't go back there anymore." As she lifts her head, we see it's Tomie. So, the story Tomie told Takiko before, could it actually be true? Or is this just another girl whose body Tomie has taken over? A few days later, Takiko meets with a police officer, who tells her, "The blood we found in that room doesn't match anyone in the system." And even more bizarre, Tomie was seen at school the very next day, meaning, even that blood couldn't have been hers. With no victim to be found, the police close the case. Takiko decides to move away with her family to a different city where her father's job is located. Before leaving, Takiko's mother throws away the blood-soaked carpet, making sure it's disposed of properly. Before her departure, Takiko visits Yamazaki one last time. She tells him, "The thing you kissed wasn't Tomie. It was just blood, trapped inside a plastic sheet." Then, she leaves. Yamazaki's nightmare. As Takiko walks away, Yamazaki stands by his window, and then, his eyes widen in pure terror. The blood-soaked carpet is still there, thrown away in the garbage. Slowly, the carpet begins to unfold itself, and then, heads begin to grow from it. Day by day, the heads multiply, until finally, an entire body forms. At first, it doesn't look at him, and strangely, no one else seems to notice it. Until, one day, the Tomies finally turn their heads, and look directly at Yamazaki. In unison, they call out, "Yamazaki! Yamazaki! Hold me!" And with that, Chapter 5 of Tomie comes to an end. In this chapter, yet another one of Tomie's powers is revealed, her ability to manipulate people to extreme levels. In Chapter 4, Kimata cut off Tomie's head to save her. And in Chapter 5, under Tomie's command, Yamazaki willingly dismembered her body to free her. So, what did you think of this video? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget, the next part is coming soon. Until then, check out all the other videos on the channel. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching.